All right, let's dive into one of those things that just quietly works in the background, making everything possible in VMware. You know, it's kind of like the backstage manager of your whole virtual show. We're talking about the VM kernel adapter. And today, we're going to pull back that curtain and see why this thing is so unbelievably important for your network.
So to kind of get our heads around this, let me ask you something. Just picture a huge stadium, completely sold out. The crowd's going wild, the music's blasting everywhere. How in the world do all the event staff, security, concessions, the tech crew, how do they talk to each other?
Yeah, you probably already know the answer, right? They are definitely not trying to send texts over the same spotty public Wi-Fi that thousands of fans are using to upload selfies. That would be a complete disaster. No, they use a dedicated channel, a private two-way radio system just for them. This makes sure their critical messages get through, no matter how clogged up the public network is. Now, really lock in that idea of a private channel.
Because that private radio analogy, that is exactly what the VM kernel adapter is. You can think of it as the ESXi host's own private two-way radio. It's the special channel it uses for all its own important business, totally separate from all the public noise.
So what's the official definition? Well, the VM kernel adapter, or VM KickNIC if you want to be nerdy about it, is a special kind of virtual network port. But here's the key. Unlike the ports your VMs use to get online, this one is exclusively for the host itself, the hypervisor, which is the brain running the whole operation. It's for its own services.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got your VM traffic. That's the crowd. That's the public channel. It's all the data zipping in and out of your virtual machines. Then, on the other side, you've got VM kernel traffic. That's the staff radio, that quiet, private channel that's reserved only for the host's own critical communications. Two totally separate worlds.
Okay, so what exactly is being said on this private channel? What are these super important missions that are so critical they need their very own dedicated line? Let's find out.
And whoa, just look at this list. We're not talking about small stuff here. This is the heavy lifting. We're talking about managing the host, with vCenter. We're talking about vMotion, literally moving a running virtual machine from one place to another. Connecting to your storage, making vSAN work, fault tolerance. These things are the absolute bedrock of your entire virtual setup. You just can't risk having them compete for bandwidth with someone downloading a file inside a VM. No way.
So this all sounds amazing, but what really makes this adapter different? What are the special rules of the radio that let it do all these critical jobs so well?
First and foremost, the biggest rule is that this connection belongs to the host, and only the host. Your virtual machines can't touch it, can't use it. It's like the key to the staff-only break room. It's not for the general public.
And it gets even cooler. You can actually create multiple VM kernel adapters and give each one a very specific job. Think about it. It's like having one radio channel just for security and another one just for maintenance. Here, you can have an adapter that does nothing but handle vMotion traffic, another one for storage. It's incredibly efficient.
And by giving these critical services their own dedicated line, you're isolating them. This is huge. It boosts performance because there's no fighting over bandwidth, and it's a massive win for security. You're basically keeping your super sensitive management chatter off the same network wires as all your regular day-to-day VM traffic.
And finally, this isn't just some abstract idea inside the host. It's a real, live citizen on your network. Every single VM kernel adapter gets its own IP address, its own subnet mask, its own gateway. That's how it actually talks to other hosts, to your vCenter server, and to your storage. It's a real, physical endpoint for the hypervisor itself.
So let's just zoom out for a second and look at the big picture. Why do we go through all this trouble? Why is separating this traffic a non-negotiable best practice for any VMware environment? It really just boils down to this one simple, powerful idea. Isolating your system traffic from your VM traffic is absolutely critical for both security and performance. I mean, think about it. If you need to vMotion your most important database server, you can't have that fail just because some other VM decided to start a huge backup. That isolation, it's everything. So if you remember just one thing from this whole explainer, let it be the number 2. You always have to design for 2 different types of traffic, the systems traffic and the VM's traffic. Keeping them apart isn't just a good idea, it's a must. One is the private staff radio, the other is the public Wi-Fi.
And I'll leave you with this last thought to chew on. If your critical system traffic, your management, your vMotion is like an ambulance with its sirens on, and your regular VM traffic is just rush hour commuter cars, What happens when you force all of them onto a single-lane road? Yeah, you get chaos. You get traffic jams, unpredictable performance, and honestly, some pretty big security risks. Building those separate highways isn't just a good idea,